How we doing, Knick fans? How's it going? How's it going? Okay. Let's see. How you doing, Zach?
What's good? What's good? What a game.
Good. 100%, man. Phenomenal.
Hey, we over 500. Hey, we can't overlook. We just went on a 4-game road trip. We won 3 or 4.
Yes, that's
incredible.
True. Wow.
Especially
nice
versus
job.
good teams. Incredible.
Nice job, Knicks. Well done.
Yes, sir.
Here's what I gotta do. I gotta zoom in right here. That's a little bit better. Okay. Let me take that away so I got a perspective. Okay, Zach. You want to start with any comments tonight before we get into the players?
Yeah. So, I'll start with the overall Knicks, how we played tonight. At first, we kind of seemed like a paint-oriented team. We started, I think, at half we were 1 for 8 from 3. So, but we stayed in it. Even though we didn't shoot threes at all, we stayed in it.
I pulled up the halftime stats for you, Zach.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, exactly. And then the threes started hitting in the second half a little bit. Quickly hit a couple. Rivers hit a couple. And we were down, quickly came in. We were up, and we pulled it off. It looked a little scary at the end. I don't know if you remember with the Reggie pull-off.
Reggie was throwing the game.
Reggie was throwing the game when they pulled quickly for defensive purposes. But hey, we held on.
Definitely, honestly, questionable decision from Thibodeau, because that defensive play they quickly had on TRAE.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, that was something. When he knocked that out of his hand, I bet that's all over Twitter if I go look right now. But fact of the matter is, like Zach mentioned, 3 out of 4 games on the road that we win. That's unbelievable, especially for a Knicks team that's this inexperienced. I mean, we have so many young guys. If it ain't my favorite 2 New York Knicks fans, and the only New York Knicks fans I know, LMAO. What's going on, footballing? How you doing, Connor? What's going on? But, Connor, we won 3 out of the 4 games on the road. So right now, we're 4-3, so we're above 500, which is, we got a lot of work to do, but it's technically playoffs right now. And I'm not saying we'll stay there, but technically, yes, it is playoffs. And also, I want to brag a little bit. If y'all haven't noticed, I got a nice little background here now, and I will get it up at some point. I swear I will. But, we also have this, real life-size banner that I'll pull up here at some point. But,
it was up there. It fell.
Yeah, it did. That's why I got to make some adjustments, Get some real equipment that can hold that up, and we'll get to it. But I also have to mention that the Pacers just won in overtime, which kind of sucks because, I didn't watch the game, but I should have. It said, am I reading that correctly? They didn't miss a free throw in the first half. That is true, actually. You know what? Good point, Connor. That is a good thing to talk about is free throws tonight. Zach, us being one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the league last year, there's been notable improvements. I mean, right?
Of course.
What, tonight? Keep going. I'll look at the stats.
Yeah, we saw a couple missed free throws from the big guys at the end, but they were probably exhausted. They're playing RJ's playing 44 minutes with all these injuries. Randall's playing 43 minutes. So, hey, it's still amazing to see that they're hitting them. So, you said, they were worse in the league last year. So,
shooting 80% from the free throw line tonight. Actually, surprisingly better than the Hawks, who on paper definitely should have a better free throw shooting team and shooting overall team better than us. But at the end of the day, we shot better percentages in all categories, okay? Even though it may not have looked it, especially in the first half. And we just outplayed them on the boards, clearly, 53-46. That's a big improvement. Also, I will say a lot of those rebounds are kind of stat padded in a way, because I'd say that Mitch had a lot of shots tonight that he he usually tips them in, especially last game we played against the Pacers. Or was that Pacers?
Yep.
Yeah, last game we played against the Pacers, that dude was just tipping up every single ball, and he was making those layups. This game, that didn't happen. He tipped the ball up, but it wouldn't go in. And so that counted as rebounds. Randall
had a couple tip-ins.
Yeah, but he had also a couple missed tip-ins. It's just those plays that, if we put those down, this may have been a bigger win. May have been a bigger gap. But I'm not going to be picky. We won the game. We played way better defense in the second half than the Hawks did. That's not a question. Thibodeau has really proved to come in clutch with this sort of team. I swear, if David Fitzgerald was the coach, and I'll say it once and I'll say it again, we would not have gotten a win yet. It's just true. Honestly, David Fitzgerald last year went on like a 15 or 16 game losing streak and we fired him because he just wasn't a good coach for this team. And clearly Tibbs is proving to really work these guys into shape, and it's working out. It's working out big time.
Yeah, and they believe in him, and it's working.
Oh, yeah, big time.
They have total faith in Tom Tibbs, and it's working.
Yeah.
That's all. You need to have faith in your coach. So clearly the Knicks didn't have any faith in David Fizdale. That's why they fired him after a couple games.
Yeah, it was pretty disappointing, Fizdale's departure, considering the roster he had wasn't that good, but the plays that he was running were awful. I'm talking about end-of-game plays. The dude would just give Julius Randle the ball and expect him to make a half-court shot. And we're talking about last year Julius Randle. Like, we're not even talking about Julius Randle now, who still can't do that, but is well improved. We're talking about that Julius Randle. And those plays, very fireable offenses. Very fireable offenses, because it was terrible. Kind of looking at the points in the paint, the second chance points, relatively close. And Zach, I don't know, are you the only one that's kind of surprised by the points in the paint factor?
Here, it's a little blurry.
I'm sorry.
Are you looking at teams?
I am, and the Knicks outscored points in the paint by only 4, 54-50. You know,
it's probably mainly from that first half, but I felt like they were making all their points really from behind the arc with DeAndre Hunter. TRAE wasn't really in many. He got a lot of free throws, but couldn't really hit the threes.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't really drive as much. Like Collins was being a stretch for that game. It felt like so.
And he's good at it. Sense. He's very good at it too, which I didn't actually. I honestly have him in a fantasy roster and everything, and I really didn't know that was his game. I'm impressed. But
he's a slasher.
Well, what I meant by points in the paint is that I thought the Knicks must have outscored them by at least 10 in the paint, but I guess I was incorrect. I guess, like you said, first half we dominated them, and they had quite a comeback. But it's also because we locked up a lot better in the three-point line, and we can definitely give Tibbs credit for that, but we also have to credit the players. And we'll get into the individual performances and how they, what they meant to the team. But what I will say 100%, the Quickley factor. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it all preseason. Okay? Dude comes in the game, we drop 60 points in the first half. Drop 50 points something in the first half. It's something that we couldn't do last season with Elfrid because Elfrid cannot shoot. When we're able to space the floor with someone like RJ, it's just perfect. I'm so proud of the Knicks management and their GMs because, quite frankly, I was not in the slightest disappointed at the Obi draft pick, but I was confused at the same time because we didn't trade Julius, and I'm happy now that we haven't because we would look like idiots if we traded him. But in hindsight, if we had drafted a point guard at that pick, we may be in a worse position right now. Right? Tyrese Halliburton, he's the real deal, sure, but he's a better player coming off the bench, and that's just my opinion. I watched 1 or 2 King games already, and he's great, don't get me wrong. But I just don't think his jump, I think he's got a lucky stretch right now, and that could come off as maybe a little insecure that we didn't pick him, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think his jumper is going to translate, although maybe first 7 or 8 games, he'll have a nice, smooth jumper, but then teams are going to figure it out, and they're going to easily block it and easily close out on it, and it's just not going to work. It just doesn't fit. Doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's
his jumper's ugly.
It's one of those Lonzo effects where right now he's a good shooter. Like I said, don't get me wrong. He's shooting phenomenally. But I don't think it's going to continue to translate. And the reason is just it's going to be easy to predict. It's not that fast. It's easy to figure out. And it's easily blockable. And also, I kind of reviewed a little bit of the other post-game shows not long ago. Like reruns of them. And one of the things that was talked about is Malcolm Brogdon's release. Now, Malcolm Brogdon, phenomenal player, right? But he cost his team the game the other night because he was too predictable. He went up for a three-point shot, took like two seconds to get it out of his hand. But by that time, Mitch is already there. Mitch got like an 8-foot wingspan. The dude's crazy. And blocks the shot because it's too predictable. That's a Tyrese Halliburton situation, but Tyrese Halliburton's got a slower one. So, just going on a little rant there about how I believe the Obi pick will fit better in the long term.
Yeah. I think Quickly's just a great teammate. He finds the guys open. I don't know if you remember when he had an open shot, but he found Randall at the top of the key. He missed it.
Yeah,
but that's just what a true point guard does, is find the better shot. And that's what he is. I think he'd fit on any team, to be honest, with his skill set. But I'm loving he's on the Knicks right now.
I totally agree with you there. Because we were talking about that, the game, and I had mentioned, Quickly had a good shot there. But it's all about getting the better shot. It's the Warriors offense type of thing. And we're definitely not the Warriors. We can't shoot like them yet. And I don't think we'll ever be able to shoot like them, okay? But the Warriors in their prime, 17, 18, 19 type of thing, they would swing the ball. And you could even swing it to Draymond. But if he was open in the corner, it's still a good shot because it's open. And I don't care who's shooting it, as long as Julius, and he didn't have a great shooting night tonight, but the dude still put up, 28, 17, and 9? Are you kidding me?
He hit the mid-ranges. At least he went to his strength right there.
Yeah.
Couldn't shoot the three, so he went to the mid-range. Just say you cut out the threes completely. What is that? He missed 3 shots?
Yeah.
It could be bad now.
No, he missed a few. Sorry, I gotta get this pencil sharpener.
That's 3.
3 or 4?
3 shots, not 3s.
Oh, not bad.
Very impressive.
I think somewhere on the line for sure, but I'm not going to judge because at the end of the day, the dude, if we didn't have him on the court, we're getting blown out tonight. It's that simple. And we can credit the Hawks defense for our win because they weren't sending doubles at Julius. And although we did win last game versus the Pacers, okay, they sent doubles at him, and he had a really tough game. It's just that simple. Collins had a good game because he stretched the floor well. Sabonis the other night didn't have a good game because he didn't stretch the floor well. It's one of those factors where it's okay, if you shoot the ball well, you're going to have a good night. If you don't, you're just not going to have a good night. And that's the difference between what happened with Collins and Sabonis tonight, where Collins actually, although they did lose, he had a really good night. Don't underestimate that at all, right? Mm-hmm. And but Sabonis the other night hit very disappointing, 13 or 12 points or something like that on his 25 point per game season average. But Collins, he did his thing. How many points did Collins have tonight? I'm confident it was.
I think he had 18.
18. That's pretty nice, especially for him having Clint as the center, and DeAndre Hunter was stealing a lot of those rebounds too. And I'm not going to say stealing; he was just bringing them down. Mm-hmm. But you know what? Let's get back into our tradition of individually talking about the players here. You ready to do that, Zach?
Of course.
All right, so you want to kind of get, this is the least fun player to talk about, but Reggie Bullock.
Hey, at this point, he's just there. I feel like the minutes are just going to start reducing once all these guys like Rivers. He's played 33 minutes. He's finally fully in this rotation now. Mm-hmm. Once guys get back, actually, I don't want to say that. We'll see. I was going to say Dennis Smith and
Alec. Remember Alec?
Oh, yeah. Alec Burks will cut his minutes. Yeah. If he just keeps not playing well, the minutes are gone. He's a three-point shooter. He's not hitting his threes. He's not even getting open shots. There's no point in having him on the floor. Yeah. That's why when on the court, Quickly was on the court, Rivers was on the court last minutes because they're playing well. So they're going to get the minutes, not Reggie Bullock. That's all I got to say on Reggie Bullock.
And I got to add something. The last 30 seconds of that game really says a lot about his game, right? Can you have him in the fourth quarter and those stretches that are important? And I think tonight he proved that he can, I'd rather have Quickly in at small forward. Call me crazy if you want, okay? I'm just talking about a replacement for Reggie Bullock, but I'd rather have Quickly in his position than him. Because quite frankly, that he turned the ball over that one time, or that was Julius that turned the ball over, but it's because Reggie gave it away, right? Reggie doesn't want the ball in his hands for some reason, being one of the better free throw shooters on the team. He throws it off the backboard, the back of the backboard, may I add, if anyone didn't watch the game. Throws it off the back of the backboard, gives them the possession, they botch it. He almost turns it over while trying to pass it to Randall, and then misses one of the 2 free throws on the other end when he gets fouled. It's that's a bad stretch. You are lucky that you were in the game at that point. And honestly, I was a little surprised with Tibbs when he made the defensive substitution, especially because how well Quickly played, and we'll also get into that later. Don't want to get ahead of myself. But I just, me personally, Reggie Bullock, just didn't have a good night tonight. He missed a lot of those open shots. And of course, it wasn't. The stats are always going to say it was good efficiency, right? 3 for 6, fine. But he went 0 for 2 from 3, and he's here to make threes. So what are you really, like, what are you doing? Yeah. And the turnovers he got, I think 1 or 2 of them maybe, were when it counted. So it's like, come on, man. Like, we can't have that.
And I don't know why they pulled Reggie Bullock. I don't know if they just value Quickly's and Bullock's free throw shooting the same, but it's just not the same. I don't know why you pull your best free throw shooter on your team in a time where what you need is free throws. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Even, like, you can value defense, but I feel like the free throws mean way more to me at this point in the game.
No, I couldn't agree more with you, Zach. It's a very questionable substitution from Thibodeau. But he was clutch enough to win us the game. The second half, at the end of the day, was our saving grace. Without the second half, we're done. The first half looked really ugly. We let up some really easy three-point shots. Trae Young was open a few times, and that, in my opinion, I mean, the title of this stream is Can the Knicks Contain Trae Young? And I wrote that last night, okay? That's not something I wrote mid-game or after the game. That's just a fact. Can we contain him? That determines the game. And we actually did a pretty good job of that tonight. So, well done from the Knicks. But that was a team effort. So, if you don't mind, Zach, I'm going to hop into Julius Randle here. And I really only have praises about Julius Randle this season. I have to just come out and apologize. Julius, I am so sorry that I said we need to trade you, okay? Obi has not been healthy. Okay, and I feel like if Obi was healthy, his production would be a little bit lower because we'd see Obi maybe getting 20 to 30 minutes a game, somewhere in that range. But at the end of the day, Julius, 28 points, 17 rebounds, 9 assists. I mean, I said it once, but are you kidding me? Like, dude, you're putting up Westbrook numbers, and I'm just saying, Westbrook is not the most efficient shooter in the world, but this dude went 11 for 19 tonight. That's 58%. That's 58%. And he shot 75% from the free throw line on 8 shots, 6 for 8. That's literally perfect. I mean, not perfect, you know what I mean. But, like, for a power forward in the NBA, who doesn't even, he's not even notoriously known for his shooting. And he's shooting the lights out from mid-range, and he's making most of his free throws. And the three-point shooting was a little on and off tonight, you get it. But he's had way better games from three-point shooting. It's just a cold night. It happens.
Yeah. And the dude played 43 minutes and still shot 80% from 3.
Yes.
I mean, 80% from free throw. Definitely not from 3. So that just shows. And I believe some of them were in like the last couple minutes of the game when he must have been exhausted. So just impressive. And, yeah, like you said, there's nothing you could say bad about him. Even you could just say 7 turnovers, but if the guy's going to have the ball all the time and he's a power forward, you just expect it. And it doesn't matter. He puts up such good numbers, it doesn't matter. He turns the ball over because he's doing way more good than bad. So
I agree. And I think that what you said there about him playing 43 minutes, that has a lot to do with his conditioning level. Him and RJ as well, who we'll get into, but he also played 43, upwards of 44 minutes here. But, you know, Julius playing all those minutes tonight is really proving that he worked hard in the offseason, okay? Thibodeau put a lot of trust in him, and that means that he's probably going to be here next year as long as he keeps something like this up, or at least relatively close to it. If the dude can average 23, 10, and 5 throughout the rest of the season and keep his turnovers number down, which I'm just hoping will happen, I mean, this dude may be an all-star caliber player. I mean, not that he'll make it, because, you know, there's snubs and stuff, like Bradley Beal last year got snubbed from the East, and he averaged 30 points per game, and of course his team wasn't good. But I think with Julius Randle playing at this elite level, and us playing really well around him, and him being unselfish, I think we have a playoff shot. And you can call me crazy all you want, but we beat 4 legitimate teams, and maybe you can discredit the Cavs as a legitimate team, but they did start the year off, what was it, 4-0? 3-0? Yeah. I mean, we
something like that.
Gave them their first loss on the road, right? We gave the Pacers a loss, and that was a big comeback game because they beat us that first game embarrassingly. Mitch had a terrible game, all that sort of stuff, and we just had a way better game than they did the second time around. I guess maybe the players learned from their mistakes, which is exactly what you want from a team like this. Julius keeps showing out in these games, right? The Bucks, we blew them out, which is unreal. I mean, that's the only blowout we've had this season, and it was against one of the best teams in the NBA. Like, well prepared. It's that simple. And also, the win tonight against the Hawks. I mean, they're also a legitimate team. They came in 4-1, or 4-2, I think. Maybe one of the two. Let's see what their record is now. I gotta check. But yeah, at the end of the day, we just play better basketball. If we keep playing better basketball, Zach, and I said it last year, okay, and I was wrong, but I said maybe the Knicks can make the playoffs. But I didn't mention this, but I was thinking if RJ had one of the really good rookie seasons, we had a shot. But he didn't, so, and the hiatus too, with the COVID and stuff. But this year, I'm legit about that prediction. I think that could seriously happen.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I don't know if they're going to keep this up with the minutes that these guys are playing, but if they could keep this up, I totally agree that they can maybe have a push at an 8 seed.
Yes.
But I just don't know if they can contain this. Like, it's such a long season, I don't think you can possibly play Randall and RJ these types of minutes and expect the same production every single night. So, we'll see. But, like you said, if they play like this, I totally agree.
No. Yeah, I mean, we can keep bouncing off of each other here and saying that we agree with each other because I totally do. I said at the beginning of the season, the only worry I had about Tibbs as a coach, and it's not even about his style. Well, it is about his style because I think he has a really good, mind defensively, and I think he can get the offense going too with quickly in the game and the plays he runs for him. But he's going to run RJ and Randall's knees into the ground. I mean, that's not a question.
Yeah.
He did the same thing to Derrick Rose. It's historical fact. I'm sorry. I don't want a serious injury happening to one of our two key pieces, okay? And I'm going to call that at this point Randall and RJ, all right? And even Mitch. Mitch, he's been limited with his minutes due to foul trouble and such, but as long as we can keep those two healthy, I think we got a shot. Now, will we keep them healthy? Not sure. Randall has a very good record when it comes to the healthy streak, obviously, except for the first game in his rookie year where he broke his leg. But since then, his conditioning's been amazing. He's built big, which I think will keep him a little bit, less injury prone, if you know what I mean. And RJ has kind of a reliant game on athleticism and taking body contact. So I worry a little bit more about him. I mean, can you agree with me there, Zach, at least? I mean, yeah. He drives to the basket. He uses his knees a lot. He sprained his ankle pretty bad last season, put him out for almost a month. So as long as he can stay out of that sort of trouble, then we're good.
Yeah.
But
it's just one bad fall or something.
Which is really a shame. It's a shame about basketball that things have to be that way, but it's just how it is. You got to keep your players healthy. I'm sure they're doing serious conditioning and practice trying to keep themselves healthy as possible and trying to keep in good shape. Because if you fall out of shape and you're playing 44 minutes a game, you're going to be in quite a bit of trouble, right? But overall, we can agree, and everyone should agree, okay, forcing opinions on you right now, that Randall has been an all-star for the Knicks this season, okay? And he's proving it right now, and he's proving it even when he doesn't put up numbers. So good for you, Randall. I'm very proud, and I'm happy to call you a Knick at this point in time. And I'm saying at this point in time because things could always change. Anyway, I'll let you start off about Mitch. There's a lot to talk about with him, too, so.
Yeah, he played a great game defensively for sure. I didn't know if there was a couple calls that he looked like his hands were a little not all the way up, but they didn't call it, and they were great defensive plays, so it didn't matter. So offensively, he did his thing. He got a nice alley-oop from RJ. I don't know, went all the way up. Yeah, he just had a great defensive game. It looked like he'd be in a little foul trouble, but he stayed out of it. Played under 30, which it didn't matter because he saw Randall out there so much. He just had a great game. Can't really say bad about much of these guys. He had a great game.
I again, totally agree. He had a great game, but I will point out, because I have to, he definitely had some flaws. Like you mentioned, he got lucky with the refs tonight. Some instances more than others, because some of the calls I think were a little controversial. But at the end of the day, He did have 8 points. A lot of putbacks that could have went in and should have went in my opinion. He just couldn't put down. He had 4 offensive rebounds tonight out of his 7. So you're telling me he had more offensive rebounds than defensive rebounds, and he still couldn't put the ball in the basket in some of these situations? I mean, again, 4 for 7, not bad efficiency, but we're talking about a guy who's going to his 3rd year. He shot 74% from field goal last year, and I'm not holding him up to that standard. I'm just holding him up to the 7-footer tipping the ball in the basket standard, and that is not very high. But you know what? Still, good game. 4 steals tonight, which I was unaware of. I didn't know he played that well. And 2 blocks. One when it counted, at the end there. The one on, was it Trae Young, I think? Or maybe it was 3rd quarter. It was during our big run. But, he had some really big contributions to the win tonight. And he didn't play much of the 4th quarter, but when he got in, his impact was definitely felt. 3 fouls. A little disappointing in that circumstance, Could have been a little bit better with that. But you're right, Zach, when you said definitely at the end, I think that could have been a foul on Collins, if you know what I'm talking about. Kind of had his hands draping over him, draping over his shoulders a little bit. If I was a ref, I would have called a foul, no bias or anything, So I will say there was some questionable stuff. But at the end of the day, we got the win. Mitch played a serviceable game, especially with Noel. He didn't play tonight.
Yeah.
And Julius played most of his minutes at center, too. So, Mitch had a good game. Also proud to say he's a Knick. But well done tonight. Zach, I'm hoping one of these days, man, he chunks up a 3-pointer, man. I know the coaching staff has probably warned him not to do that, or his minutes will be totally cut. Which I can understand, but if it's like a blowout win and we got him in the game, which probably won't happen much this season.
Won't happen, but
chuck up one or 2 threes. See what you feel. Dwight Howard shooting threes now. I mean, how about you do it? Just chuck up one. I'll let you start with RJ a little bit if you want to do that.
Sure. Or no, I'll let you do RJ. I'll do.
Cool. That's my guy.
That's your guy. I'm not gonna take your guy.
So RJ again. Another phenomenal game, back-to-back. The Pacers game was really impressive, too. This kind of just adds on to one of those more impressive games this season. I'd say now that this is his second most impressive game, and I'm not going to rank him every time he has a good game. But got the win tonight. 26, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists with 2 steals. And I will say his defense was very good tonight. Some of the fouls were more off-ball, and they weren't bad shooting fouls or anything, but they were just moving off the ball, slithering through defense, maybe pushing, shoving a little bit. And I think he had 1 offensive foul. So his defense stayed good, especially if he only had 1 foul on the defensive end of the ball. But the 11 rebounds really stands out to me. I mean, this kid can jump for those boards. He locks them up, And I even mentioned that he still, although 5 assists is not near a triple-double, he will be in some of these games a triple-double threat. Because he's playing off the ball, he's making the right passes, and he's limiting his turnovers. No turnovers tonight, which makes it a really good game. And he's driving to the basket efficiently, 53% about, 52.6, call it 53. And the 3-point shooting, I'm just happy he hit one. We're talking about a guy
out of Indiana.
Yeah, that's something. We had to talk about that, and that kind of hurts a little bit. But 20% from 3, he's really not a good 3-point shooter. As long as he made 1 tonight, I'm okay with it. But I'm telling you, dude, this kid is a DeMar DeRozan-esque player. He's got the skill set, he's got the size, and as long as he can develop that 3-point shot in the next few years even, he's going to be a really serious issue. And I'm not talking about like a LeBron James type of issue. I'm just talking about an RJ Barrett type of issue. He's his own guy. If he develops a 3-point shot, he's going to be a problem because you're going to have to guard up on him. He'll blow by you. He'll get an and 1. He's a good finisher. It's that simple.
Yeah. Just to add, on the finishing, he's an amazing finisher, like you said. I feel like every time he goes to finish, I feel like it's going in. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah.
It's just that efficient at this point. He's just, I don't know, it feels like he's mastered it right now. It's, some of them are very acrobatic on the way. It's just amazing. I'm shocked. I had no idea that he had this in his system out of Duke.
Yeah, well, I watched a lot of the games last year, and you told me, okay? I'm gonna quote you. I'm gonna quote drop you right now because I said some bad things about Hero, and I regret them. But You said that RJ may not pan out this season. He may just be a bust, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I watched the games last year.
I'm going to be real. The dude's getting 44 minutes. I hope he does something. And he's doing more than I expected.
Yeah.
I just expect 18 from him. He's putting up like 25 on some of these nights. But let's be real. If you're getting these minutes, you have to do something. And he's doing it. So
that's a good point.
I'm not going to complain.
I mean, I'm sure the efficiency isn't very good. Don't get me wrong. But right now, currently, 7 games into the year, which we can kind of consider a good chunk of the year so far, considering there's only a 72-game season, right? So he's averaging 18 points a game, almost 8 rebounds a game, almost 4 assists a game. That's way better than what I expected. I expected more of a season like 16, 17 points a game, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. He's definitely exceeding my expectations. But the one thing that's going to keep nagging him, and it's going to be a big issue throughout his career, is his three-point shooting. Yeah. I give Elfrid Payton just as hard of a time as I give RJ Barrett because they both can't shoot threes. And I think that is a good transition to talk about Elfrid Payton. Wait, actually, I'm sorry. 5 for 7 free throw shooting. Decent improvement. Yeah. Could do a little bit better, you know? And I'm not that picky when I'm talking 6 for 7, but if you can just put down those extra free throws, it means we secure the win even more. So, but that's something he'll work on too. It's just the shooting and the free throw. Well, shooting. That's pretty much all I'm asking for. The mid-range is lethal. The finishing is lethal. Perfect. If you want to talk about Elfrid Payton now, I'm all ears.
Give my opinion on Payton. Yeah. So, came off a great game. He's becoming a great finisher until the game kept going. And then it got even worse, and then even worse, and then they just pulled him because he was so bad. Mm-hmm. So, he started off the game hot again. But he just kept going up, and it just, like, what are you doing? You're not making any of these at this point. Now you're just throwing them up. Throw them up. He took 18 shots. That's crazy. And no threes. They were just all, I don't know, maybe some of them were middies, but I don't know. I feel like it's just going to eventually give up, but I feel like you can't really lose that ability, like the finishing ability. It's not just going to go away, but if you got to just stop shooting if you're not going to make them. And that's why he pretty much got pulled. That's why you put Quickly in, and Quickly was better. So, I don't know. He might, throughout the season, he might start to lose his minutes. He can't shoot. That's a big deal. So, yeah, I don't know if he's going to keep these minutes up, if he's going to still be the starting point guard of this team. We'll see. But just being a finishing is not going to cut it right now.
No, I totally, again, agree. You're looking at other players' stats here. We're talking about Austin Rivers, who came in, played 33 minutes. He took 6 shots. Okay? If you gave 18 shots to Austin Rivers, we're going to win this game big. Okay? It's just a simple fact that you're giving the ball to Elfrid too much. We're relying on him to make the right decisions, but he's going for contested layups, like you said, not shooting efficiently. And when he does shoot efficient and he has good games, sure, maybe we'll win. But on the occasion that he has bad shooting games, which will happen often, he's going to really hold the team back. And you look at guys like RJ Barrett, who played the 44 minutes tonight. He took 19 shots. Elfrid played 28 minutes and took 18 shots. I mean, that's not fair. That's not realistic. I mean, I would have rather Quickly been in his position with the 28 minutes. Was Quickly played a good, 19 minutes, not even. I mean, the kid shot, he missed one three-pointer tonight, but the three-pointers he had were momentum three-pointers and ones that mattered in the fourth quarter. Could you imagine hitting those, Peyton? I'd be losing my mind if he was hitting those, but he's not. He's not even getting the chance anymore because he blew it. But you know what? I could definitely see guys like him and Reggie on the trade block. At the end of the day, they're not the best players in the NBA, but they're good trade bait for contenders at the same time. If we're talking about a team who lacks point guard skills, and I will say, one team that may struggle, if Mike Conley keeps up his good play, and I don't want Mike Conley necessarily. I don't not want him. I just don't think we'll be able to put a package of Pate together for him. But if we ship him to a team like the Jazz, the Magic maybe need some mentorship with that, Markelle Fultz, Cole Anthony thing going on. I'm not trying to make packages up in my head right now. I'm just saying that he's shippable, It's not impossible to trade him. And if he's not really fitting the team and you want to get the young guys a chance, then do it. That's my philosophy. Or you could start Austin at that spot. He would be just fine.
I think either of them, Quickly or Rivers, might be a way more effective guy with the minutes that he gets. So we'll see. I don't know how much packageable he is in a trade. Maybe like a couple picks, like second, or not a couple, just like a pick.
Just a second. Yeah.
Maybe a second, and that's it.
Maybe.
But yeah, I don't think he fits this team for much longer. Mm-hmm. But hey, I'm not going to take away. His finishing has been very good, but not tonight. He did too much of it. He overdid it.
At the very beginning, Zach, I'll agree with you there. The dude was looking good. I was like, okay, so this is going to be another one of those good games. And then he kept taking them, and I guess maybe he wasn't conditioned enough. He got fatigued, or he just wasn't making them, and they weren't even playing that good at defense. He was just missing. And it just turned out Thibodeau, he rewards guys who play good minutes. It's that simple. I agree with the philosophy that those who play better should earn the minutes. That's why I think Quickly right now, it's fair that he's getting 19 minutes a game. He's still going to show it. He's still going to earn it. But after a 16-point game in like 19 minutes, and then we have someone like Alfred who shoots 33.3% on like almost 30 minutes, and he makes 14 points, and like it's like, well, who's better? Who should be starting? You make the decision, Tibbs. But at this point, I don't really care about keeping the vet happy.
Yeah.
I've said it since the preseason. You have too, Zach. Start quickly.
Yeah. That's what I've been saying. But what you were talking about with the whoever is playing good should get the minutes, that just shows. I know a lot of sports, I don't know if you know, are becoming more analytical, and I just think it's so dumb. Like, you should just be like, Tibbs is a lot more traditional, so he's going to do that. But I don't want to get too off topic, but in baseball, this guy, the manager on the Rays, is becoming he is an analytical guy, so they're playing with a lot of analytics, and they lost the World Series because of it. They had a pitcher, and he was pitching amazing. You keep that in. Like, Quickly was playing amazing. You keep him in. But they pulled him because analytics told them to pull him. Because going around the order, they don't want to do that, and they lost the World Series because of it. They choked. They had the lead, they choked. So, not to get too off topic, but you gotta just play with your best guys.
No, you got a good point. The analytics don't mean anything in modern day NBA.
No.
That's why I love Frank Ntilikina, and he hasn't showed that much this season. He had some really good shooting games, but the injuries are going to keep holding him back, and he's going to lose minutes because of it. It's just that simple. It's how basketball plays. It's how sports are played. If you get injured, you fall behind, and sometimes you just never really have a good enough recovery to get back. And I think Frank is hopefully not going to go down that path, but it's not looking too promising for him either. And also, I got to mention, him and DSJ, where have they been? I get the injury side of things, but not much has gone on. Are they okay?
Yeah, they haven't said anything.
No, I mean, it's still a sore Achilles for Frank, and it's still maybe a sore, knee for DSJ. What's going on? I don't even know what the injuries are. He's just not playing. I don't know. I was a little annoyed by that. It's ironic, though, because I will say, check out the Knicks4Clicks Instagram page. I'm always going to be pushing that, and I'll pull that up right now. But what I will say for a fact, okay, is that, and I appreciate whoever liked that. Anyway, I put together a Photoshop last night, and ironically enough, it was of DeAndre Hunter and Emmanuel Quickly. And I think it's funny because those are actually the two biggest talking points today, right? Quickly came in off the bench, had a phenomenal game. DeAndre Hunter killed it. I think it was 9. I just looked. It was 9 for 15 shooting in 37 minutes. Dude had 23 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist. And the shooting, I mean, the percentages don't even say it all. I mean, the kid played phenomenal off the ball. So, give all props to him. Hopefully he pans out because his rookie season was a little bit disappointing. Kind of gave me RJ vibes with the rookie season, right? Not really talked about, but not underrated or overrated. Kind of perfectly rated. And he's looking to have a nice sophomore season. Or what is it now, junior season? Because freshman year, yeah, sure, you're right. But you know what? Good game from him, and let's get into what's his name, Austin Rivers. Do you want to talk a little bit about Austin Rivers? Your favorite player ever? right?
Favorite player ever.
Yeah, no.
I didn't know he had 3-pointers in him. Like, when he shoots them, they look good every time. He looks like a very good shooter. It's just nice to have him on the bench. You know he's a veteran. I guess, is he technically a veteran? I don't know how old he is, but it feels like he's been in the league for a long time.
Yeah,
It's just a great
30.
piece that they got on this team, and I think he really wants to win. He's going to help us win. And I'm just happy that he played his crunch time minutes that he deserves. And, yeah, I hope he eventually gets... Actually, I don't even want him to change. I was going to say give him more minutes. He doesn't need more minutes.
He's coming off the bench and doing
33 minutes. Yeah, he's doing his thing off the bench.
I think, although we do want the best players to start, I think Tibbs does have a philosophy that the second unit is also a big deal, right? Because when you're wanting to play guys like Austin Rivers, does he have a better effect starting, or does he play better off the bench? Because would you rather have Elfrid Payton come off the bench? I don't know. Because Elfrid Payton comes in, what if we have a good first quarter, and then he comes in, because Tibbs likes to play the guards, particularly, like a lot of minutes in the first quarter. Let's say he plays them all 12, okay? Elfrid Payton comes in second quarter, we lose the lead. Austin comes back in, he can't get it going again, and then we lose the game. It's that simple. So maybe that second unit, Austin, is meant to bring us back in the game, revive us a little bit, give the team some more energy.
Yeah.
And I think that's
I don't
also...
mind who starts.
Oh, yeah. I don't
mind
care.
Who starts. As long as the guys that are the best on the court are on the end of the game in a close game. So I don't care. I don't care who starts.
And I will have to add one thing, is that if Quickly were to not start this season, I want him getting serious minutes off the bench. Austin came off the bench tonight, dropped a quick 33 minutes. I want Quickly to get 30 minutes off the bench. I want to see what he can do, seriously. If he has another game like this, but he's able to play 12 more minutes, we're talking about a potential 25-10 game. Seriously. I mean, he was good ball distribution tonight. He passed the ball to Randall at the top of the key, most notably. Unfortunately, he missed it, like you said, but he will at some point put those down.
So, exactly.
Yeah. And that's going to lead to a lot of open shots, a lot of open looks. And you can't ask more from your point guard. I say it in 2K all the time. And luckily now I get the point guard role in the rec, all right? But and I haven't been very good at it so far, but I love point guards who pass the ball, right?
Yeah.
And he is it. Elfrid Payton he's been kind of selfish so far. I think Elfrid Payton is really just trying to secure his minutes, honestly. I think that's the reason he's going ball hogging so much. But it's backfiring on him, so...
Yeah. It'll eventually catch up.
It will. Now, Zach, would you like to talk about Kevin Knox? I'll let you talk about Emmanuel quickly, too.
Oh, okay. We'll talk about both Kentucky guys. Finish for the last. Hey, Kevin Knox, the 2 shots they knocked were very clean. And especially that buzzer beater.
Yeah.
Wow. That thing, he was so contested.
That was nice.
And it was just so clean. And, hey, I hope Kevin Knox does this. Just give him 3 shots. We can hit a couple of them or one of them. Fine. Yeah. He didn't do much, but he did
enough.
He did what he got. Whatever he got 3 opportunities and he made 2 of them, which is great. That's all you ask. So I was very happy with that.
The only criticism I seriously have for Knox tonight, and what held him back the most, okay, not a question, dude had 4 personal fouls in 18 minutes. We're talking about preseason Mitchell Robinson fouls, and one of the fouls was on a three-pointer on DeAndre Hunter, and I said, dude, whenever he plays, he gets at least one of those a game. His defense has not improved seriously that much since last year or even his rookie year. His rookie year, we're talking about a guy who maybe could put up decent numbers on the offensive side of the ball if you give him a chance, but we're also talking about a guy who has a lot of defensive inconsistencies, okay? And you can't keep a guy like that on the floor, especially at your small forward position, guarding the hottest player on the floor, DeAndre Hunter, at that point, right? The dude had like 20 points. You can't have Kevin Knox guarding him. It's just not going to work because he's going to keep cooking you, and it's going to keep screwing your momentum up, and that's what loses games. So if Kevin Knox can work on his defense, he will be a legitimate rotational player. But you know how Tibbs feels about defense, right? And playing hard. Randall's doing it. RJ's doing it. Mitch has been doing it recently. Even Elfrid, although he didn't shoot super efficiently, I have to give him credit. He's trying. Okay? I know, Trae Young, he's always going to have a phenomenal night. But I'd say for the most part, 31 points for Trae Young is a well-contained night. And that's crazy because, 31 points is a lot, but Trae Young can score 60 at will, I'd bet, if he wanted to.
Trae Young's incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible talent.
31 and 14.
That trade, that was two incredible guys that got flipped to each other.
I call it a win-win.
Trade.
I don't know.
100%.
They
fit both their teams well.
They're going to call it, they'll probably debate it 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, whether it was a good or bad trade. And that'll depend on the longevity of the players. But right now, although Luka, in my opinion, is a mile better than Trae Young, okay? And it's not Trae's fault. It's just because Luka's got a better kind of, he's got a size advantage, probably weight advantage. Quite frankly, he's got just a skills advantage. But Trae Young is the next coming of Steph Curry. Luka is the next coming of LeBron James. It's that simple. It's a win-win trade. I would do, in their primes, I think it's still fine to trade Steph Curry for LeBron James because they bring different aspects, okay? But they're both really freaking good, okay? So I call it a win-win. A lot of people do. But I also know I say that, Zach, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people say the Hawks made a terrible decision, but I just think it was a fine decision because I also think, what was it? I think the Hawks gave up a pick, or no, I'm sorry, the Mavs gave up a first-round pick, too.
In that deal?
Yeah, they did. So they traded.
They jumped up, so they probably did.
Yeah, they gave up I think it was an unprotected first-round pick or protected first-round pick. It still worked out. Get Trae Young. He's legit.
Yeah. I found it so cool last year that they both got traded for each other in the same draft, and they're both all-star starters.
With each other. Yeah.
In the second year of their career. So
that was really cool
to see. Yeah. On different teams guarding each other. And they were guarding each other in the Futures game.
Yeah, that too.
So, yeah.
All right, so
we can talk about quickly.
I know you're probably antsy to talk about quickly. I would be if I was you.
Oh, quickly. When we drafted him, I was so hyped. And nobody believed. You said projected 50th pick, late second round pick. Hey, I think he's the steal of the draft. He's playing exactly like he did in college with limited minutes. So I feel like his game is completely translating, and he's playing better because he was just off the ball in college. He was just a shooting guard. Now he's becoming more of a point guard in the NBA, and his passes are just amazing. He's getting guys open like we were talking about with the whole Randall thing. He's just... is there something bad we could... I guess we could say he didn't start off on the first half, but second half, you just ignore what happened in the first half. He's so good. And from that elbow, when he's a point guard, but when it's time to shoot, he'll get off the ball and he'll just find himself open on the elbow. And it's just amazing. It's like a combo. He's a shooting guard, but can pass easily. Better than like an average point guard. More than average point guard. Above average point guard. So, there's just nothing bad we could say about him. He's just so good.
I will say one thing that I think will be throughout the season inconsistency, but I cannot at all hate on it tonight because tonight played out of his mind, okay? But his defense tonight was very good, but honestly, I don't believe he's 6'3". I think he's at most 6'2", okay? I'll stand by that. I need to measure him without those shoes on, even with the shoes on. I don't buy it. But defensive inconsistencies will be inevitable, okay? He hasn't put on the weight yet. He hasn't put on the muscle yet. He will, but he hasn't yet. And he's got kind of like that Trae Young effect right now, where Trae Young, his rookie year, his defense was terrible. And his defense even now is not that good, but it's improved. And I think Quickly has that sort of ceiling where he can really work on his defense, And if that can translate to the professional level, we're talking about a serious starting point guard, dude. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah.
I was very, very happy with him tonight. I think he should have started the game based on his performance last game, too. Did he played last game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't
he only missed that 1-3, I think.
Yeah.
I think that was his only legit miss. I think. Yeah, he went 3 for 4 versus the Pacers.
I don't know how much...
In and out 3.
I don't know how much more I can take of him not starting on this team, seriously. If we're going to have Austin come off the bench, you may as well. And I know I mentioned with the bench unit thing, but if you want a legitimate starting lineup and you want to compete with teams in the first 10 minutes of the game, you put Quickly, Austin, RJ, Julius, Mitch. You got your starting 5, and it perfectly pans out. You got a good backcourt. You got a good front court, okay? RJ will play his role perfectly. He'll play off the ball. He'll take open shots if he has them. Hopefully that can increase his percentage a little bit as well. Hopefully he can put some more shots down with 2 playmakers around him. Actually, I'll say 3, because Julius has now become a point forward, which is something I didn't think I'd ever be saying. Quite frankly, what I thought I'd be saying at this point in the year, Zach, okay, like a few months ago, I'd be like, how does Julius Randle enjoying Charlotte? Because we would have traded him, you know?
Yeah.
But it's okay. Phenomenal play from Quickly. Again, couldn't have asked for more. And good night for the Knicks. Good night. Right?
Amazing night.
And Zach, I don't want to have to cut it off short, but I am extremely tired, and we have a school day tomorrow. We had a school day today too for those who are watching. So that wasn't phenomenal, but you know what? Again, Knicks beat the Hawks. I have predicted incorrectly pretty much every single time that we lose, because I think, we can't go on a win streak like this. We can't do this. But I'm wrong. We can. Well done. And we got to do our post-game ritual where we predict the Knicks' next game, right?
Yep. Let's see. Didn't we say we're playing the Jazz? We're home, finally.
Now, I will say,
Wednesday.
I don't want to look like an idiot and say that we're going to beat them, because I don't think we will. But on the off chance we do, my prediction for us beating them, and I'm going to make 2, okay? I know I said you can't make 2 last time, but I just have to at this point. I have to, okay? Because it really could go 50-50 at this point. If the Knicks win, it's going to be really narrow. It's going to be 3 or 4 points. And if we lose, it's going to be 20 points. There's no debating that. Or there is, but I think it's either a blowout or it's a close win.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going 15-point loss.
Okay, that's reasonable. If I had to make a actual prediction, okay, I've been predicting this a lot lately, but I'd say, pretty much your prediction, 15 to 20 point loss. I could see anything more than that. I don't see less than that. Especially with the next bench unit coming in, at the very end there. I don't think that's going to be a really good unit to have in versus the Jazz. So I say we lose by 15 to 20 points. So we're kind of in the same boat there.
Yeah.
All right.
The Jazz been this year, though.
Even if they haven't been good, they still have Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell. Still have those core guys, and there is no way we take that down.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Very true.
Appreciate y'all watching the stream. You got any final remarks before I come and I cut this off, Zach?
Nope.
Okay.
Good Knicks win.
Good Knicks win.
Be back Wednesday.
We will. And I hope y'all have a good Tuesday and Wednesday day. You know what I mean? We'll see you Wednesday afternoon. And have a good night, y'all.
Yep. Peace.
Peace.